out of 32 in 2026. We've got George Kirby's 2026 debut on deck in just under 20 minutes here. So we're going to go pretty quick in this pregame. We've also got Brendan Donovan's Mariners debut. First time we're going to get to see him actually playing a game in a Mariners uniform. We've got Cal, Julio, so this might be the first time that we see the top five, really the rule of five, the five real studs in this lineup play in their given spots in the batting order in 2026. Make sure to go drop a like on this stream. Let's get the discussion going. Let me know what you guys are excited to see today, and I'll tell you guys some of the things I'm excited to see today as we get ready for game number 5 of spring training that the Mariners are going to play this year. And also, this should be one of the last couple that Julio appears in. Expecting, Ohtani already left. So thinking that probably going to have Julio, Cal leave for the WBC in the next couple days, Naylor, Randy, the four of the top 5 players, arguably, the top 4 players in this Mariners lineup, top 4 Mariners position players are all playing in the WBC. And I've got the J-Rod squad shirt on. It's a little bit funny. I always thought it was funny how this thing fits. The chain is just hangs so low, and it looks kind of silly when you wear it. But anyway, looking at this lineup, right, I'm just excited to see the top 5 guys in this lineup. The rule of 5 in baseball is like, okay, when you build your lineup of 9 hitters, you want 5 of those spots at least to be guys that are going to be everyday guys. And then you can have 4 spots that you're rotating, taking advantage of matchups, platooning guys in. But you want at least 5 guys that are real everyday studs. And, that's what you got with the Mariners. You get these guys all playing their positions, hitting in their spots in the order in, what they're going to be hitting in 2026. Brendan Donovan leading off. Just excited to see him in a Mariners uniform. We kind of have an idea of what he brings to the table, but just excited to see Brendan Donovan actually get out there in a Mariners uniform. I'm probably going to take, I got to take like Cal or Julio to hit a home run today, I feel like. But considering, the pitcher that we've got is Anthony K, which, man, this guy's been around for a little bit. Anthony K, okay, he is a lefty, so we got to take one of the righties to hit a homer, just kind of based on, the obvious logic there. So I'm going to take my boy Randy Arozarena. I'm going to say Randy is going to get into one today. He definitely only going to have one at bat against Anthony K. Probably these top 5 guys in the lineup get one at bat. Between all of them, they probably go through 2 at bats each. And then, the last couple of guys in the lineup, you got Luke Raley, you got Dom Canzone, then 2 prospects, Michael Arroyo and Colt Emerson. I'm going to go Randy hits a homer today. I don't know. You know what? I've got the J-Rod squad shirt on. I'm probably just going to have to go with Julio to hit a homer. Going to be doing that a whole lot of times this year. It's either Julio or Randy. Whichever one I'd say is going to do it is probably going to be the other one. Colt Emerson is one. He's going to run into one of these at some point. The way that he is aggressive in general, I think is just going to help him run into one at some point. We're going to go ahead and say Julio just because I'm wearing the J-Rod squad shirt. Man, this thing looks so silly, right? With the... what the hell? Oh, sorry. Anyway. Julio's going to hit a homer today. I'm going to say that the score is going to be 9-5. One of these true springs training scores. Then I'm going to go with... for Kirby. Now, the main thing I want to see with Kirby... Oh, yeah. Haven't even talked about George Kirby yet. Already 5 minutes in. Only got a little bit under 15 minutes till first pitch right now. So... with Kirby, last year he was throwing 6 pitches, 4-seam, sinker, slider, all around 27-28% of the time. Changeup, 2%, curve, 11%, splitter, 2%. I don't want the splitter back for Kirby. Nick Pollock of Pitcher List had a great point with Kirby. He said, I thought he found so much, he got so comfortable with the 4-seam, sinker, slider kind of combo last year. I don't want to see the change, the curve, and the split all be big factors. Maybe he keeps those, like, yeah, like, 2% of the time for both the change and the split, 11% of the time with the curve. Like, I'm okay if he has those in the arsenal, but I just don't understand why you would keep them at 2% of the time. You're clearly not that confident in them. And then, I mean, you have so much success when you just work the four seam and the sinker, and then you work the slider in there. And he has so much control. He's gonna have everything he needs with those first three pitches. So I'd be happy to see him just use those three pitches today. And we're going to say that that's really the thing we're looking at with Kirby is which pitches is he using more of. I don't. There's no way in my mind that like George Kirby comes out here and throws six different pitches in this start. Obviously going to go around two innings. We're just throw a K number on there. Doesn't matter too much. We're going to say like I'm going to say 2Ks. I think that some guys are going to try to run into a George Kirby fastball and gonna put some pop flies out there, some ground outs. On this Chicago White Sox lineup, there's a couple guys that you notice: Curtis Mead, Edgar Caro, Austin Hayes, a guy who could have been a good right-handed bat for the Mariners this offseason. They ended up getting exactly what they needed in Rob Refsnyder, though. Lenine Sosa, a guy who has kind of an interesting profile for them, was part of them having some hot streaks last year. Brooks Baldwin, you notice, Lamont Wade Jr. Don't know almost anything about. I mean, I know the names barely. Sam Antonacci, Derek Hill, Tanner Murray. So we're going to see those guys, and we're going to see a whole lot of other guys as well. I mean, there is so many guys. If you go to Baseball Savant, like I have in the thumbnail, right, and you click on the Show All Hitters, you will see just a big, huge drop down list of hitters, for the Mariners. So let's pick another one of these guys that is not even not a starter, not a guy who you'd expect to even like know who he is. Let's pick another one to hit a homer. We're gonna take Victor Labrada is a guy that I really like. I actually worked at a training facility where he was training, and I mean he's just got real deal speed. I think he stole a base yesterday. He's been walking a little bit. He had a 4-pitch walk yesterday in the ninth inning. Really like what we're seeing out of Victor Labrada, but as far as homers go, and is Ryan Bliss actually going to get into a game soon? That's one of the other big kind of questions, storylines in spring training right now. Ryland Thomas has been looking good. I have a feeling that he's going to run into one at some point, even though the average exit velocities aren't. I mean, when he came into the majors, weren't super high. He's a guy who I think is going to hit for some power. Brian O'Keefe is a guy with some sneaky pop. So it's between those two. I'm gonna go ahead and say Ryland Thomas. I just think he's more likely to get into the game. We're gonna say that he goes ahead and hits a homer off the bench today. And obviously Miles Mastrobuoni is super hot at the plate right now. Arguably the hottest bat in this Mariners lineup. So gonna be a fun one today. Other stuff to watch out for. You get the Mariners broadcast today. Since it will be at Peoria Sports Complex. It's a home game. You're also going to, Brendan Donovan, just see Brendan Donovan. Lots of us Mariners fans, didn't watch the St. Louis Cardinals a lot last couple of years. So go out, see Brendan Donovan in a Mariners uniform. See the top 5 guys in the lineup come up, be professionals. Not going to see him do anything crazy. Might not even see him take the normal plate approaches. I mean, Cal could swing at the first pitch. A lot of these guys swing at the first pitch anyway. Raleigh, Rodriguez, Naylor. But they might just swing at the first pitch, just try to get something going. They might try to work a long at bat when they don't usually do that, in Naylor's case. But really just see how these guys come and operate as kind of a rule of 5. And this rule of 5, Donovan, Raleigh, Rodriguez, Naylor, Rosarena, the all-stars, right? That is who is going to, this team is going to live and die by this year. You don't want the team to live and die by Rob Refsnyder and Dom Canzone. You don't, shout out Dom Canzone is in the lineup too. He could very easily hit a homer today if he stays in there and faces a righty. I wouldn't take him against the lefty Anthony Kay that's starting. I almost wanted to say that Anthony Kay was part of a trade where, he was never in the Mariners organization, but he's a name that I don't know, I've been familiar with for a long time. Like Even like back in 2016, he was signed. 2019 with the Orioles, 2020. I mean, he's been up and down in the majors a lot, and um, I don't know. There's like Anthony K. I don't know exactly what he's good at. Apparently, he's getting good at getting guys to chase. Has a four seam fastball in the mid 90s, slider, sweeper, and change all in the 80s, and his slider is in that gyro ball territory. So we're going to talk about this one more time today. So the gyro ball is where pitchers are throwing sliders that are not trying to move as much as these other pitches. Within 6 inches of vertical and horizontal break. Usually a slider comes and it looks like it's moving a whole lot more than that. So, Anthony K could be one of these gyro ball candidates this season. With the broadcast cameras in spring training, it's going to be hard to see exactly how he's throwing it. But what we want to look for is if he is getting on the side of the ball and trying to cut the ball rather than trying to come straight over or come straight through the ball when he's throwing it. If he's getting on the side of the ball, that's a sign that maybe he's doing that with his four seam as well. And then the four seam and slider play off of each other better. The sweeper will definitely play into that role as well. The sweeper just similar horizontal break, just a little bit. Similar vertical break as the slider, within 6 inches on either side, and then just basically a little more horizontal break on that one. As sweeps. Then the changeup, he only uses that 4% of the time, but that thing ends up breaking quite a bit to the arm side. And for a lefty, right, that would be this side. So he's a lefty. That thing, he throws the changeup, breaks to the arm side, and it doesn't actually break down as much as you would think for a changeup, right? Traditionally, changeup falls off a cliff. But anyway, that's what we're seeing with Anthony K. Going to be interesting to see how this Mariners lineup hits against a lefty. This Mariners lineup is built to destroy righties. You've got all these lefties in there, with Donovan, Naylor, Raleigh being a switch hitter, and then you've got the Rayleys in there, you got the Canzones in there. So another interesting storyline today is see how these lefties do against lefties. It's basically just reps for them, trying to not be so platoon dependent, maybe. And we don't even know, is Anthony K going to go more than one inning? Don't know. Definitely not more than two. But like Rayleigh and Canzone, once you get to them, do they get the at-bats against K, and how do they fare, and probably just try to put up long at-bats and seal out of pitches from a lefty who's trying to be competitive. If you have any questions, go ahead and put them in the chat. We've got little over 5 minutes, 5.5 minutes till first pitch, so I'm going to sign off here in a couple minutes. Give you guys another minute to put some stuff in the chat. And on YouTube, I know it's been telling me, there was a couple more live chats than I'm seeing come through. So to make sure you put it in the live chat, and if I'm not seeing it, then put it there again. Because on my end, I'm not seeing anything quite yet. But anyway, other things to look for in spring training. The sun obviously played a role the first couple days. I don't know if that's still going to be a big factor. It didn't get mentioned as being a big factor yesterday. There was maybe a time or two where an outfielder lost the ball. It was funny yesterday too. The Dodgers announcers kind of grilled right fielder. I'm pretty sure it was Brennan Davis. They grilled Brennan Davis because the center fielder, forget who it was coming in, trying to track the ball, maybe lost it in the sun or something. And then the Dodgers broadcast is like, and he got absolutely no help from the right fielder. Let's just say he wasn't going to pull a muscle akin to that, And they're like, man, tell us how you really feel. He's like, yeah, I just did. So they were not impressed by that from Brennan Davis. Davis, a guy with a ton of athleticism, obviously. Maybe just the instincts need some work. Maybe stuff like that's going to prevent him from getting to the majors. Don't know, but Um, yeah, not sure. We've got 4 minutes and 45 seconds till first pitch, ladies and gentlemen. All right, you know what? Put a guy to homer. Put a guy to homer in the chat. Whoever you think is going to hit a homer today. And if you get it right, I'm going to shout you out on the post game. All right. Yeah, looks like we're pretty much just coasting into first pitch at this point. Not too much. Not too much else to say. I guess talk about Colt and Colt Emerson yesterday. The defense, very heady play where he drops the ball on purpose to try to institute a double play, and then Arroyo. I mean, the bat's been super hot so far. If he just holds up defensively through the whole spring, maybe he is more viable than we thought for 2026 in terms of getting up to the big leagues. I've always said, and since I heard from Justin Hollander at FanFest, like he thinks that Arroyo is going to be up at some point in 2026. Arroyo looks like an advanced enough hitter to get up there in 2026. Being kind of a stockier guy, definitely. I mean, he's stockier than I even expected. But I think he's a guy who he might be able to. How do I put this? Like these stockier guys, right? They shrink the strike zone, they crowd the plate. Some of these like lankier guys, right? Like Julio, for example. Like Brennan Davis is even an example of this, even though he hasn't debuted. Las Montez, Teoscar Hernandez, even. Those guys struggle because they've got such a big strike zone and they have less control over everything. Brendan Donovan is a good example of like being stocky and controlling the strike zone a whole lot more because of it. It would be fun to see. It'll be fun to see Brendan Donovan here. He'll be hitting in, bottom of the first, and that'll be in, I mean, we're gonna get to the top of the first in just over a minute here, guys. So if you're here, go ahead and throw something in the chat. Otherwise, I'm gonna see you guys after this game. And see any last predictions. I said 9-5, just sounds like a spring training score. And also shout out to the work week. It's Tuesday, and it's a work week Tuesday. Being able to cover sports here, right? Pretty awesome. So shout out to everybody in the 9-5s. That's gonna be our score prediction for today. We're gonna go with Julio to hit a homer, and I mean, definitely pretty possible any day of the week, but especially facing a lefty. And we're going to go with 2 strikeouts for George Kirby. And the thing we want to see with him is just the 4-seam sinker cutter, 4-seam sinker slider. Get comfortable with those. I could even see George Kirby adding a cutter at some point, but we won't project that until we know it's true. 4-seam sinker slider for George Kirby. 2 strikeouts. Don't care about that. Just want to see the pitch mix. Anyway, the game's about to start, and I will see you guys after the game. Go Ems.